Ever get that feeling like, there's got to be more to life, even when, things are pretty good? That's what Siddhartha is all about, right?
Yeah.
This classic novel by Hermann Hesse.
Yeah.
We're diving deep into it today, see if we can't find some answers. We've got the book itself, obviously.
Of course.
And some, really smart analysis to help us along the way.
I think it's a story that speaks to a lot of people, across generations. Because who doesn't want something more, right?
Exactly.
But what's different about Siddhartha is he actually goes after it.
He does.
He rejects every easy answer he comes across.
And I mean everything.
Yeah.
Comfortable life, all the teachings, even the path the Buddha lays out for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Sure.
So where are we going with this deep dive today?
Well, I think we got to understand what's driving Siddhartha, what's behind this relentless search. What does he learn about, knowledge and enlightenment?
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, there's something in there for us too.
What can we learn from this guy?
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, the book starts with Siddhartha already surrounded by knowledge.
Right.
He's a Brahmin son, living a life most people would, be pretty envious of.
Dream life.
Loving family, close friends, respect from the community.
You'd think you'd be set, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Right.
But Hesse uses this image of Siddhartha's vessel of knowledge, and it's like no matter how much his teachers try to fill it, it never quite...
Before it gets there.
Yeah. There's this emptiness, this yearning for something more than
More than what he's being taught?
Yeah, beyond rituals, beyond scriptures,
So this isn't just Siddhartha, is it?
No, not at all.
Because his dad's
the same way.
Really?
Yeah, a respected scholar himself, but always searching, always looking. It's like they both recognize that just knowing the sacred texts, it isn't the same as truly living them.
So that's where the discontent starts.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That gap between, the head knowledge and the actual experience.
And we see this in how intensely Siddhartha throws himself into, meditation.
Right.
He describes his soul as an arrow, aiming for the divine, trying to break through.
He wants that direct hit.
Yeah, not just the idea of it.
That's just the idea, yeah.
But even that's not enough, right?
Right.
He decides, I'm leaving, I'm joining the samanas.
The samanas, those wandering, renouncing everything, all possessions.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty extreme.
It is. And his friend, Govinda.
Yeah.
Govinda's reaction is so interesting.
What? He freaks out.
Yeah, he's terrified. But then he just submits to Siddhartha's will. Even this early on, you see that
power.
That charisma, that leadership.
So he's with the samanas now. What's that like?
Oh, they're all about rigorous practice.
You did the details.
Fasting, weeks at a time.
Wow.
Enduring pain, sensory deprivation, the whole 9 yards.
It's about transcending the self.
Yeah. And its desires.
Detaching from the world.
The idea is, by doing that...
you escape suffering.
Exactly.
At Siddhartha, he's like a natural rent.
Oh, he picks it up fast.
Like too fast.
He even manages to basically cast a spell on their elder to get permission to leave.
What?
Yeah, it's in the book.
That's wild. So he surpassed even their expectations.
But then he leaves.
That's the thing. It makes you wonder.
What's the point if it's only temporary?
Right.
He's seeing that real enlightenment.
Yeah.
It can't just be about willpower or self-denial.
Like, what are we even doing then?
He compares it to, a drunkard. Finding relief in rice wine.
I see.
It numbs you for a bit, but...
doesn't solve the real problem.
Exactly. And this is where we see that crack in his friendship with Govinda.
Oh, right, because Govinda's still...
a true believer.
I gotta say, even this early in Siddhartha's journey...
yeah.
It makes you think,
It does.
What am I clinging to that might be holding me back? Am I mistaking a temporary fix?
They're a real solution.
Exactly.
Yeah, big question.
And speaking of big questions...
yeah.
Siddhartha's about to run into someone who... supposedly...
has all the answers.
Gautama the Buddha himself.
Here we go.
This is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
Rumors about the Buddha are spreading.
Reaching the samanas.
And it's like a mix of,
hope.
Hope, yeah.
Skepticism.
A little bit of everything.
Their elder, though,
yeah,
he straight up dislikes the Buddha.
Why?
Because apparently after years of being an ascetic, the Buddha, get this,
yeah,
went back to worldly pleasures.
Whoa!
Talk about a philosophical clash.
It's amazing. It's like, which way is it then?
Right. Strict renunciation or finding balance.
Govinda, though, he's all in. He wants to hear every word. Siddhartha, though,
Yeah.
seems a little over teachers at this point, doesn't he?
He does, but he's still watching, observing.
Like a hawk.
He notices the Buddha needs hardly any food, almost like...
He's on another plane.
Exactly. That detachment from physical needs, it's something Siddhartha has been working towards himself.
Trying to understand him through, like, his very being.
Yeah, not just the words.
So in the end...
Govinda joins the Buddha's followers.
Of course.
Siddhartha, though, different path.
And before he goes,
Yeah.
they have this conversation, Siddhartha and the Buddha.
Oh, this is a good one.
He basically says, and I'm paraphrasing here, look, I get your teachings, the logic's there, but something's missing. But in such a respectful way.
So polite, yet so bold.
What was he getting at, though?
Well, his core belief, right, enlightenment can't just be about the teachings.
It has to be lived.
Experienced, yeah. And he points out the Buddha's most important experience.
His own enlightenment.
Can't be put into words.
So he's afraid of becoming just another follower.
Yeah, trading one set of teachings for another.
From Brahman to Buddha, but still not his own.
Exactly. Afraid of getting stuck in someone else's truth, no matter how wise they seem.
And the Buddha, what does he say to that?
Cryptic, as always. Be aware of too much wisdom. Like he's saying, words have their limits. Go find your own way.
That's a mic drop moment right there.
It is. And for Siddhartha, it's like...
a turning point.
Yeah, loses his friend, but finds himself...
like a rebirth.
Shedding those old identities.
He's going rogue.
He's going to be his own teacher.
Unravel the secret of Siddhartha.
That's what he says.
All right, folks, I think we got to pause here for a sec.
Let this all sink in.
There's a lot to unpack in these early chapters.
A lot to think about.
We'll be back with part 2 of our deep dive into Siddhartha. Don't go anywhere.
We'll pick up his story and see what he discovers next.
So last time, we left Siddhartha rejecting pretty much every traditional path, right?
Uh-huh.
Done with teachers, done with all the dogma,
Mm-hmm.
ready to, like, figure things out on his own.
He's going all in on experience as the teacher now.
Exactly. And that, I think, changes how he sees the world.
You see it right away.
He's got fresh eyes, you know?
Yeah, like he's finally seeing clearly.
He even says it, right? He's been like someone trying to read without actually reading the words.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Trying to get the meaning.
But missing the beauty of the language itself.
Missing the experience of it.
That's it. He's so focused on the goal, the enlightenment, the nirvana, that he's...
missing everything along the way.
Yeah, those symbols and letters, the actual moments, the experience.
I feel like we do that all the time, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Get caught up in our goals, ambitions, and we forget to just...
enjoy the ride.
yeah, appreciate the little things.
Always striving, never really present.
And for Siddhartha, this realization,
This awakening,
it leads him to Kamala.
the courtesan.
Right, the beautiful courtesan.
A whole new world opens up for him.
Love, desire.
Yeah, things he hasn't really experienced before, with all that denial and detachment.
Kamala's the one who,
Guides him.
yeah, she's like his mentor in this new realm.
Teaches him the art of love, the ways of the material world.
But here's the thing, even though he gets into it, you know, business, wealth, pleasure.
Still holds back.
Yeah, like he's playing a part, going through the motions. But
Yeah. Not fully invested.
that's the thing about worldly success, isn't it?
Sometimes it's just not enough.
It doesn't fill that hole.
You can have it all.
The money, the achievements, the stuff.
And still feel empty?
Yeah, I know people like
They
that.
check all the boxes.
But they're not happy.
No, not really.
And Siddhartha, that emptiness grows, right?
Despite the success.
He even compares himself to a ball player.
Just watching the game.
Observing, but not
Clean.
through the motions.
But his heart's not in it.
And this leads to, well,
Dark times.
yeah, he's not doing well.
You hear this voice inside him.
That quiet voice, the one that's
discontented.
like a part of him knows something's wrong.
Even though, on the surface...
He seems to have it made.
Right. But it's all an illusion.
And eventually,
Despair. Yeah, deep despair.
he realizes those childlike people, the ones he used to look down on.
They have something he doesn't.
Meaning.
In their simple lives.
They haven't spent years searching.
But they seem to have found...
Yeah,
It's heartbreaking to read, honestly.
it is.
He's disgusted with himself.
The life he's built.
Miserable and shameful, he calls it.
He even thinks about,
Suicide.
yeah, standing by that river
The one where he met the ferryman?
all those years ago.
Utter hopelessness.
He just wants to escape.
Escape the suffering.
The samsara, the Buddhists call it.
Right, that endless cycle of...
Birth, death, rebirth,
driven by...
desire, the very things he's been trying to escape.
And right there, on the brink.
Yeah.
He hears it, that sacred syllable, like a lifeline.
Reminding him of
the divine.
that spark within.
It's the interconnectedness.
Of everything.
The connectedness.
It's like a
wake-up call.
Yeah, like, hey, real peace isn't about running away. It's about embracing life.
Powerful stuff.
And it shifts something in him. He realizes how childish he's being, wanting to just
end it all.
And then that sleep under the coconut tree.
Deep, dreamless sleep.
Wakes up a changed man.
Renewed.
Letting go of the past.
Surrendering to the flow.
And who does he run into?
Govinda.
His old friend. The one who
became a monk.
What a reunion.
They've been on such different paths.
But still, that bond, huh?
Govinda's still searching, studying, following the Buddha's teachings.
And Siddhartha?
He's found something.
But he can't quite explain it.
Not in words.
He's more humble now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, accepting that he doesn't have all the answers.
Far cry from that, arrogant young man who left everything behind.
There's this beautiful image, though.
Tell me.
He compares himself to a rock sinking through water.
Effortlessly.
Just letting go, allowing life to unfold.
Surrender.
That's the key.
First it was surrendering to experiences, now it's
surrendering to life itself.
And this is where the ferryman comes in.
Vasudeva.
Right, he becomes like Siddhartha's. In a way, yeah.
He's a listener, first and foremost.
Just being present.
No judgment, no advice.
Just creating that space for Siddhartha to
share his story.
Sometimes that's all we need, isn't it?
To be heard.
To have someone bear witness.
Without trying to fix us.
And through Vasudeva, Siddhartha starts to understand.
A river.
That constant flow, but also
unchanging.
Like a paradox.
But it represents that eternal cycle.
Life, death.
The interconnectedness of everything.
He's starting to feel that oneness, right?
The thing he glimpsed with the Buddha.
But this time, it's not just a concept.
He's living it.
And then Kamala arrives.
Fatally bitten by a snake.
With her son.
Also named Siddhartha.
Wow, that's got to be tough.
It is.
Seeing the woman he loved.
The mother of his child.
Dying like that.
He grieves.
But he also finds a new purpose.
Raising his son.
Fatherhood, though.
Not so easy.
No, the boy wants that city life.
The one he's used to.
And Siddhartha, he struggles to connect.
Like he's seeing his own younger self in his son.
That restlessness.
And he learns a hard lesson.
Which is?
You can't shield anyone from suffering.
Not even your own child.
Vasudeva's advice is crucial here.
What'd he say?
Let the boy find his own path, just like you did.
So even though Siddhartha's found some peace,
he's still learning.
It's an ongoing process, isn't it?
Enlightenment's not a destination.
It's a journey.
And the boy leaving.
That's another loss.
Another layer of letting go.
Accepting that impermanence.
Of everything.
It's like each hardship.
It's loss.
Pushes him further down the path.
And even though it hurts.
He keeps growing.
His wisdom deepens.
He becomes more loving, more connected.
Shedding that old judgment, that detachment.
He's embracing those childlike qualities.
Ones he used to reject.
Realizing that true wisdom
is about accepting it all.
The good, the bad.
The joys, the sorrows.
And that's when the river's laughter takes on that new meaning.
Right. It's revealing the truth about suffering.
It keeps coming back.
Until we face it.
And learn from it. Okay, I'm hooked. We're getting close to the climax of Siddhartha's journey. What happens next? The river's laughter, it's really hitting Siddhartha now, isn't it?
It is. He's starting to understand that cyclical nature of suffering, that samsara.
Right, the thing he's been trying to escape.
And facing that, I think, is key to his final transformation.
You know, it's interesting that he goes to Vasudeva not just to listen to the river, but to confess, his pain, his longing for his son.
That vulnerability.
Like a turning point.
He's being honest with himself, with Vasudeva.
Yeah, and that honesty seems to be a big part of his journey now.
It is. And while he's pouring his heart out, something happens.
What happens?
His perception shifts.
Okay.
He sees Vasudeva not just as like a wise old ferryman, but as something more.
More? Like what?
Like an embodiment of something greater.
Wait, is he seeing Vasudeva as a god?
Not exactly. It's more like he's seeing Vasudeva as the river itself.
The river.
Yeah, a manifestation of the divine, that interconnectedness he's been seeking.
So Vasudeva becomes like a symbol of...
the unity of all things.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
It is. And Siddhartha recognizes it's a temporary perception.
Right, like a glimpse into another realm.
But it's a taste of enlightenment.
Confirmation that he's on the right track.
And it's through this connection, this deep sharing with Vasudeva, that Siddhartha has that vision.
The vision in the river, the one that changes everything.
The one that changes him.
So what does he see?
He sees the interconnectedness of all beings.
Give me the details.
His father, himself as a young man, his son, Kamala, Govinda, countless others.
All connected.
All merging into the river, flowing towards their goals, experiencing joy, suffering.
It's like they're all part of
the same current.
Waves in the ocean, right? But he's seeing it.
No longer separate, but part of one grand flow.
And he realizes
there's no real separation.
No past, no future.
Only the present moment, the eternal flow of life.
That's his enlightenment.
Not an escape from the world, but a deep understanding of his place within it.
So he finally gets there.
He does.
Finds what he was looking for.
And what about Vasudeva? Does he stick around?
Celebrate Siddhartha's big win.
No, and that's what's so beautiful.
What do you mean?
Vasudeva knows Siddhartha's journey is complete.
So
he steps back.
Just like that.
He says, I'm going into the forests. I'm going into the oneness.
Like he's fulfilled his purpose.
Exactly. The student has surpassed the teacher.
Time for the teacher to move on.
And then Govinda returns.
Govinda, the one who followed the Buddha.
He hears about this wise ferryman. He seeks him out.
Their paths crossing again.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
And Govinda has no idea.
None.
That he's about to meet his old friend, the enlightened one.
Their conversation, it's so telling.
What do they talk about?
Govinda, he's still searching, trying to grasp nirvana, samsara.
Intellectually.
Yeah, with his mind.
But Siddhartha.
He's moved beyond that.
He's living it.
Embodying the wisdom.
He makes you think, how often are we looking for answers outside ourselves?
When the truth might be right here.
Inside us.
All along.
And what does Siddhartha tell Govinda? What advice does he give?
He says, searching means having a goal, but finding means being free, being open, having no goal.
Let go of the striving.
Just be...
Easier said than done, right?
It is. But look at Siddhartha. It worked for him.
And then, to really drive the point home...
Yeah.
He asks Govinda to kiss his forehead.
What?
Yeah. And in that moment...
Govinda has a vision.
Here we go, getting mystical again.
He sees countless faces flowing like a river, all manifestations of Siddhartha. It's a direct experience of that oneness, the unity of all beings.
No longer separate individuals, but
expressions of the same force.
No wonder Govinda's overwhelmed.
He's not just understanding it, he's feeling it.
And that, my friends, is Siddhartha.
What a journey.
We started with this restless young man, yearning for something more.
We followed him through so much.
Teachers, success, despair, love, loss.
And ultimately, he finds peace.
Understanding. But it's not about escaping the world, is it?
No, it's about embracing it.
All of it.
The good, the bad, the joy, the sorrow.
Understanding that we're all connected, part of this.
One grand flow.
And it leaves us with a question, doesn't it?
What teachings are we clinging to that might be holding us back?
Oh, what would it look like to let go like Siddhartha did?
Big questions.
We've only scratched the surface here, folks. Read Siddhartha, embark on your own journey.
You might be surprised what you discover.
And with that, we say farewell. Until next time, keep diving deep.